Border, failure. G7, failure. Afghanistan, failure. Iraq, failure. Everything.
Everybody, welcome back to One Patriot. I am Libby Lioux Patriot, and I am joined by the amazing
Burning Spirit Patriot. Thank you guys for joining us again.
Yes, we're very excited to have you here as we talk about what might be the biggest story of the year so far. Would you venture to say that's...
I think that's a fair assessment. You can talk about this, what happened at what's going on with the border. We can talk about, a plethora of things. But I think this takes the cake.
Yes.
Because this is going to go down in history. I'd say what's going on at the border is extremely important too. Mm-hmm. But this was an catastrophic failure.
Yes.
What do I said economic.
Well, it
will have economic consequences. Yes, but this is a failure.
Yeah.
In the highest order.
Absolutely. If you haven't guessed what we're talking about quite yet, we are discussing the catastrophic pullout of Afghanistan. I was going to make a joke, but my mom's going to watch. So,
yeah, I mean, this was, like I said, the biggest, most epic failure of my lifetime. Mm-hmm. I think this is worse than Katrina. This is actually Joe Biden's Katrina.
Absolutely, it's his Katrina moment.
Yeah, this is his Katrina, and the media is scrambling like hell to cover for him, but even they have to acknowledge that this is a failure. They try to come to his aid after his little speech or whatever. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, this is what we needed. He needed to stay. He needed to say that he takes the blame and he owns up to it. And they were the only thing that interview, or not interview, but the address to the American public, the press conference that he had. I don't even know if I would even want to call it a press conference because they didn't press him on anything. He ran away like a coward after giving his little teleprompter speech. The only part of that speech where he owned up to anything is when he said, "The buck stops here, and we made a mistake," and that was it. He didn't own up to botching the deal that Donald Trump made, where there were conditions in.
Yeah.
He didn't own up to his idiotic statements 3 days prior, or was it 3 to 5 days prior to this entire thing taking place, when he said, when the press asked him, "Are you worried about the Taliban taking over?" He said, "No, the Afghanistan government has 300,000 ready and equipped and trained soldiers.
They're going to be fighting."
Yeah, they're going to be fine. There's only 75,000 Taliban members, and we've trained them, and I'm not worried about it, and everything is all good. A mere few days pass by, and all is lost.
Catastrophe.
Yeah.
It literally looks like World War Z. You know that scene where they're all mobbing to the wall?
Yeah.
That's what the airport looks like.
The Vatican? Is that the Vatican, or is that like...
I think the Vatican does take place in that movie.
Yeah.
I think that's somewhere in Egypt. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I could have sworn, because the Vatican has walls, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you could be right.
I don't know. It might not be the Vatican. I don't know. But it was a scene in that movie. I remember.
Movie.
I remember that scene. Yeah, when the zombies are climbing up, and they're trying to get it. Yeah, that's a perfect analogy. It did look exactly like that.
It was
trying to get on that plane.
Like something you can't even fathom actually happening in real life happened. But I want to backtrack a little bit. So when you talked about like the buck stops here, and he said that. Cool, he said that, but then he continued to completely pass the buck.
Yeah.
He's like, buck stops with me, but it's not my fault.
Yeah, yeah. And sorry, you guys, if you guys don't want to hear a anti-Biden video, you might want to click the exit button, because this is going to be we're going to go in on this guy, man. We're going in on this guy, and I don't care. I made a video on my channel, but which is Burning Spear Patriot.
Gotta get that plug in.
Yeah, and make sure everybody plugs into or get the plug in for your channel too, which is
Libby Patriot.
Yeah,
I only have one
make sure
video.
you guys subscribe to her channel as well. Yeah. But we're going in on this guy, man. This guy deserves every bit of just negative energy coming his way. He deserves it. There is no way that this guy is not 100% to blame for this. This guy is just an epic failure, a walking disgrace, a walking abomination. This is the worst president of all time. At least George Bush was strong. Like, he was stupid, but he was strong.
He had a presence. Like, other countries were intimidated.
Yeah, he was a neocon.
Yeah.
But he was strong. You know what I mean? Like, I may not have agreed with, like, most of what, foreign policy, and I may not have agreed with everything.
He's a terrible president.
Yeah, I'm
not
a fan of George Bush at all. But at least the guy was strong. Like, at least the guy was like, he wasn't a weak, feeble old man like we have in the White House right now. Yeah. Oh, what a horrible.
It's such an embarrassing time for our country. Like, I know everybody thought that that was the left's cry about when Donald Trump was in office.
But look at what they were crying about, though.
Yeah,
mean tweets.
He was mean.
Mean freaking tweets.
Shot from the hip.
Are you kidding me? Mean tweets?
Yeah. No.
Oh, my gosh.
He wasn't actually all the things that Joe Biden actually is, if that makes sense. Everything they accused Trump of being, I shouldn't say everything, but a lot of the things are turning out to be exactly what Joe Biden is, everything they hated.
Yeah. I mean, I have, I criticize Trump on a lot of things. Sure. There are things that he's not the perfect, president. I guess nobody is really. But he is what we need at this moment. Mm-hmm. He is what we need. May not be what we want, but he is what we need.
Yep. Absolutely. We need that iron fist, if you will.
Yeah,
people are going to ridicule that term.
Trump wasn't no punk, man.
No.
Biden is a punk. He is a punk. He is weak. He tries to bring on this like facade that I'm old
he gets
Joe
angry.
He's
unstable.
I'm old tough Joe from Scranton.
Yeah.
I'll take you behind the woodshed and challenge you to a push-up contest, and I'll beat you. And I'm more. I have more masculinity running through my veins, and I can still do this. I can still be physically strong. Like, what? This guy he's so weak. China is eating his lunch. He's letting China eat our lunch. Right? Russia made him look like a bitch and made us look weak. And it was everything that this guy puts his hand on, foreign policy wise. I'm not even talk about the other stuff. Has been a failure. Border, failure. G7, failure. Afghanistan, failure. Iraq, failure. Everything.
Throughout his entire presidential political career, he's failed on every single foreign measure.
We're talking about a guy that when special forces, United States Special Forces, had a clear shot at bin Laden, said, "Oh, well, maybe we shouldn't go in. Maybe we shouldn't go in just yet." What? Are you kidding me? Thank God somebody overruled his butt. Thank God somebody overruled him, and they got Osama bin Laden. This guy is whatever he says, we should just do the opposite.
100% immediately. Okay, Joe. Today's opposite day.
Every day you are in office, we should just do the opposite of what you say. We should just do the opposite, because this guy is a catastrophic failure.
And it's going to have, it's not just like, it's not like when Trump he had his moments like, that was not a smart move. It's like, seriously, Joe? Like, you're about to destroy our entire country.
I can say this, there's nothing that you can tell me about Trump and his foreign policy. There's nothing you can tell me, because Trump was competent.
Yes.
Foreign policy-wise. You want to know why?
He had experience.
He has experience. He has experience negotiating with different countries, different cultures. He knows the customs. The guy is a real estate mogul. He has buildings and real estate in different countries. He knows how to talk to these people.
Right.
Joe Biden has just been in the legislative branch, aside from his work as a vice president when he did you know what. He doesn't have any experience talking to any world leaders, and if he does, he just fell asleep at the wheel or something, because he didn't learn anything.
No.
He didn't learn anything. 40 years. Over 40 years. This guy is a catastrophic failure. I can't say it enough. A walking abomination. Yep. That's what he is.
Yep. And I hate to be the one that said, "I told you so" to every single person that voted for him, but told you so. Like, all these people bringing up their losses now, and it's like, we weren't lying. We weren't, like, millions of people weren't red-pilled just because, for no reason. We saw the red flags and signs that, like,
it didn't even have to be a sign for me. I saw what he said, and, like, everything he said, he's pretty much followed through on everything he said, because he's doing what you see now is what he said he's going to do. And if people were unable to see this, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what, like, everything, like, like, we didn't just say this because for our health. Like, we didn't just say this because Donald Trump,
like, we're a MAGA cult.
Yeah, I didn't just say this. Me personally, I didn't say this because about Joe Biden. I say this because of what I saw. Mm-hmm. What I saw, what I heard him say, what I saw.
We've seen for decades.
For decades, yeah. Like, it's like, what?
We've seen that everything he's touched.
We have over 45 years of
failures.
Just 45 years of history of this guy's career to look back on and see what he's done, right? I don't understand how anybody didn't see that and just, like, be like, okay, this is not gonna work well for this country. We need to do the opposite of what this guy's vision is. We need to go the opposite direction.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that the media is now turning on him a little bit, but also shame on them. Like, blood is on their hands too.
Yeah,
absolutely. You lied to the American people to get this person in power, to get Biden in power. You swayed the election. You misled people. It's on their hands.
Yeah,
too.
it's funny how the media wants to act all morally high. Right. Like it's like, oh, you guys don't have the moral high ground on anything because you guys were for the Iraq War. Number one, you guys were for the Afghanistan war. Everybody was talking about supporting George W. Bush when he was going to war. It was only, and this is when, like, I give the left credit because they were smart enough to know that this was wrong, you know. But the media was on board with all of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now it's just like, now they want to come back and say, oh, well, this is wrong and try to have all these morals, man. And then some of them are still trying to, you know, scramble and clean up Joe's mess, that monstrosity of a weak speech that he made. Oh yeah, Joe Biden finally owned up to his mistakes, and he's like you said earlier, he didn't own up to anything.
He didn't own up to anything whatsoever, at all. And I get the feeling, my instinct, looking, you know, at history, is that the buck isn't going to stop with him. I think we're going to end up going back.
Oh, yeah.
After we've lost
I'm pretty sure you are absolutely...
billions of dollars?
Yeah, you are 100% correct. And I know we are going back. I know for sure. So that's an unfortunate thing.
Yeah.
The way that they pulled out was 100... This was 100%... a botch.
Yeah.
I don't know what their strategy was. What did you think was going to happen?
Right. As you've now missed the deadline, right? That May 1st deadline. There's no. You think what? It's like the. I guess the perfect embodiment of it is that CNN reporter. Like, is this what they thought? It's like, oh, they're chanting death to America, but they're mostly peaceful. Like, is that what Biden thought that the Taliban was going to be like when they left? Like,
they're pathetic. They're begging the Taliban government to give women rights and give women a seat at the table and make sure that women are respected and
right.
treated with.
You know who should be ashamed of themselves for voting for Biden? All feminists. Every single feminist that voted for Joe Biden should be so ashamed of themselves and advocate of course they're not, because they're going to do the same thing that he did. They're going to come up with excuses, right? But you're responsible for thousands of women that now they're no longer allowed access to education. You know, some of them are allowed to keep their careers. A lot of them are going to be raped, murdered, basically slaves.
You know, I hear a lot of some of the top Taliban leaders, not even some of just like some of the even the lower soldiers are now starting to round up 14-year-old, 15-year-old girls and making them be one of their wives.
They're going door to door.
Yeah. And you know what's scary is this war started, 20 years ago? Mm-hmm. These girls have no idea what it was like before because they were born after. So these 15-year-old girls, they have no idea what it's like. And what they know is that, okay, you know, we have the backing of the government, Afghani government, through the strength of the United States. Now that that's gone, these 14, 15-year-old girls are going to be forced to marry some grown man Taliban member. It's so Joe Biden is a catastrophic failure.
Yeah.
He is a failure. He is a screw that guy, man.
Yeah.
It's like, screw Joe Biden. Yeah. He is so garbage. He's talking about the buck stops with him. Whatever, man. you're saying that you inherited a deal. Really? So you inherited a deal. You still could have followed through with that deal because you didn't follow through with that deal.
Yeah.
Number one, you didn't follow through with that deal.
Botched
and
that
you
deal.
can also, if you're going to botch that deal or if you're going to not follow through with the deal, why not just pull back from the deal 100%? I would respect him more if he pulled out 100% of the deal and just said, no, we're not going to follow through with this. But instead, the reason why he pulled out of the deal or botched the deal or extended the time we were supposed to stay there was because of political reasons.
Yeah.
He did not want to give Donald Trump the glory
No, they can't
of
do that.
stopping a never-ending war. And let's make something clear. For all these neocons that say, oh, yeah, we needed to stay there, we needed to stay there. No, we needed to get out of there. We needed to get the hell out of there. But Donald Trump's plan had conditions. And Donald Trump is not a punk.
No.
Had those conditions been broken or disobeyed or just not followed through on the Taliban's behalf, we would have came in there and crushed them.
Yes.
We would have came in there with the full force of the military and destroyed them, and we would have been justified in doing that. And I would have been, I'm not a freaking warmonger, but I would have been 100% backing the United States military to go in there and destroy the Taliban. And you know what? I don't care if it's civilians in the way. I don't care. The Taliban, we need to freaking lay our fist down, lay our foot down, and let them know who the boss is. We need to let them know who the boss is.
Agreed. Well, that's the thing. They knew when Trump was in office, they would not be able to get away with it.
They knew
They knew that.
Yeah.
They knew that he was going to come in and...
They saw what happened to ISIS.
Yeah.
They saw what happened to Soleimani. They
Yes.
saw what happened to all of these terrorists that try to get in the way of Donald Trump and his military.
Shut it down.
He shut it down. I got to give him credit for that.
Absolutely. But now they have nothing to fear.
They have nothing to fear because you got a weak, old, demented piece of garbage
that doesn't even care that he has how many thousands of American citizens still left there too.
Yeah,
like very
that's
clearly
disgusting.
He doesn't care.
That is disgusting.
And he's just an idiot, and they have nothing to fear.
They have nothing to fear. They don't fear Joe Biden.
No.
You think these countries, our enemies, fear Joe Biden? China doesn't fear Joe Biden one bit. No, because number one, they have Joe Biden by the you know what.
Yep.
They have him by the you know what.
Yep.
Because of his incompetent son, number one, and because of just Joe Biden himself being a weak, feeble, old man that can't do nothing, can't even tie his shoe in the morning,
Nope.
doesn't even make his own breakfast in the morning.
Can't even, as I stumble on my words, he can't even complete a sentence. He can't even get through a speech without how many gaffes coming up? Like,
yeah, one that's not on a teleprompter. He can't wing it. He can't wing it on anything. He has to and you know what's so disgusting? So disgusting. You got American, like you said, you got American citizens in Afghanistan right now, behind enemy lines. What does this guy do after his little garbage, weak speech? He goes right back on vacation. Right back on vacation. What a walking abomination. You have up to 40,000 American citizens, and you walk your happy butt back on vacation. Him and Jen Psaki, giving all gingers a bad name. If I was a ginger, I would be ashamed of Jen Psaki. We wouldn't. You are disowned.
You are no longer a ginger
at all.
Yeah.
You are. We cast you out. Gosh, what a disgrace.
Ginger card revoked.
Yes, what a disgrace.
They both are. They're both terrible. They're absolutely terrible.
Going back on vacation. How do you do that? You'd give a 10-minute weak speech and you go back on vacation?
Yeah.
And number one, you were on vacation. You were on vacation while this was happening, and it took you, 3 days to even address the issue?
Let's be real. He's probably not on vacation. He's probably undergoing some treatments to keep him alive and
probably going. Yeah, cognitive. You're right. They're probably pumping him. They are pumping him full of drugs.
Yep.
They are pumping this guy full of drugs. This guy is dead in the eyes if you ever look at him.
It's getting worse every single time he's on TV too. I'm just like, this is just like a walking meat puppet.
This is why I say they hate you, they hate me. They drug this man across the finish line. They did a freaking Bernie's Weekend. What is that movie?
Weekend at Bernie's?
Yeah, Weekend at Bernie's. And they played the music and they drug, you know how he walks. They drug his happy butt through to the finish line. Because this guy would not be able to do it on his own.
There's no way. But he bumbled it all up, even with the media like coddling to give like the most babyest of questions. Surprised he didn't blunder the sock question.
He's a moron.
Yeah, and I was gonna jump because what's happening in Afghanistan does have relevance to the border crisis. Mm-hmm. I had like 50 thoughts run through my head right there. What's happening on the in McAllen, Texas?
Mm-hmm.
Really across the entire southern border.
Yeah.
We're letting in. I think the number was there were 200,000. I think so far this year. Mm-hmm. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong, but I think it's 200,000.
Not this year. This month.
This month?
200,000. This year, it's over 1 million.
Baby Jesus.
It's over 1 million this year.
You're right. Yeah. That's
nuts.
Well,
it was last month because they haven't finished this month yet. It was last month. It was 212,000 last month. And it's breaking. We're already breaking records. Each month, it's breaking a record.
That's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
That's absolutely mind-boggling.
This is what this, like I said.
And so, go ahead.
This is 100% done on purpose. Where are they sending these people? To swing states.
Yep.
Where are they going to send these refugees that are going to come here to the United States from Afghanistan?
Yep.
To swing states.
Swing states. But you know who they're not letting in and putting in swing states? Cuban refugees.
Oh, yeah. They shut them down.
That's not allowed.
Yeah, they're not going to allow
any. We're bringing in now millions of Mexican illegal immigrants and potentially hundreds of thousands of Afghani refugees.
Yeah, and
are you serious? That are unvetted and unvaxxed.
Exactly.
I clearly don't care about the vax. Like, talk to your doctor about getting the vaccination. But but based on what the left is pushing, they should all be vaccinated, right? And they're not going to be.
Yep, they're not going to be forced to take the vaccine. They're not going to be tested at an adequate number. If they don't have any symptoms, they won't test them. And this is what's going on at the border. Joe Biden and his foreign policy, if they don't show any kind of symptoms, they're not testing them. They're just letting them through.
And yet, meanwhile, in New York, if you're not vaccinated, you can be fired from your job.
Yeah.
You're not allowed in any place as a business.
Mm-hmm. Really makes you wonder, man. Like, this whole system, it's broken. It's broken. We need we need to tear this thing down and reassess everything again and make this thing more ironclad as far as keeping the people's rights. Our rights are being violated.
Yes.
Our rights are being violated. And it's becoming to a point where something's going to break. I don't want this to happen, but something's going to give. You can only push people so far.
Right.
But something is going to give.
Yep.
I really hope it doesn't come to that, but something's got to change, or else you're going to have me on that side saying something needs to change and something is going to break. You're going to have me on that side to where I'm like, this is not working anymore. This is not what I'm at the edge right now. Like, I'm at the edge. I'm like this close.
No.
Seriously, this close. They are pushing me with all their might, and I'm like trying to stay off the cliff, trying to stay away from the cliff. No, I believe in this. I believe in this. Like, this can work.
No.
But these people don't believe that it can work.
Right.
These people are taking advantage of what we believe in. They're taking advantage of what we believe in. They're using what we believe in, and they're using it against us.
That is accurate. But we're allowing them to
yes,
use
we're
it
allowing
against
them
us.
because the reason why we allow it is because we don't want to be called Nazis if we push back. We don't want to be called racist if we push back. We don't want to be called bigots or sexist or homophobe or transphobe if we push back.
Yeah, but you know what? You should have the right to be those things if you want to be that in America, right?
Yeah, but you will.
So I know you'll get canceled.
Yes, you'll be shut out of society.
Right.
Nothing. There's nothing, because guess what? You don't own any. You don't own any of the institutions. You don't have a hand in any of the institutions. You don't have a hand in academia. You don't have a hand in media. You don't have a hand in Hollywood. You don't have a hand in the music industry, any of the arts, nothing. You control nothing. You don't even control the bureaucracy. You don't control the military. You don't control anything. The military was going back on the president of the United States, the guy who's supposed to be in control of the military. They were going against Donald Trump. Generals were lying to Donald Trump about what was going on. They were literally lying to him. We have nothing. We have nothing. So there's nothing we can do to push back. That's why I'm like this close.
But that's what I'm saying, as people, as citizens, because there are at least half of America is like, no, fuck this. Sorry, excuse my language, but fuck this. Like, no. And people are getting fed up, and I do have optimism there. I think they are starting to push back. Those generals, we need to be pushing
they
for
need
these
to be
people.
Fired.
They need to go to jail.
They were literally lying to Donald Trump to push out their little agenda, their little military-industrial complex agenda. They were lying to Donald Trump.
Yes. They should be in jail. And we need to be more informed as citizens.
I don't know. Isn't that sedition?
I think so.
Like, isn't that like some kind of like treasonous sedition?
Yes.
Like sedition?
Yes.
I need to look up the definition. I could be wrong, but isn't that sedition? I could be wrong though. I don't know.
I'm gonna look up the definition.
Yeah, it's a yo. We don't.
Well, I guess no, it's not sedition.
Oh.
Or no, it is sedition. Conduct, well, I guess it could be technically, but it's conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. So I don't know if they're really inciting the military, but they definitely, at least treason.
Yo.
I would say treason might be
when
better.
it comes to the military, the buck stops at the commander-in-chief. Like, your name, it's literally in the name. Commander-in-chief. Commander. You command everything that is within the military, each branch of the military, Air Force, Army, Marines, Navy, right? Mm-hmm. Coast Guard, everything. The President of the United States is in control of that. And you are lying to the President of the United States to push your military industrial complex agenda. That is got to be some kind of crime. I'm sorry.
Be. And that's just what we know about as the public.
Yeah.
That's just I'm sure the surface. Would dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
But that's just it. We let it go. We've let it go. And so, yes.
But it's like here's the thing. In order to hold these people accountable, there's got to be some teeth behind it. We can just say, oh, wag our finger, oh, you're bad. But where's the teeth behind it? Where's the pit bull that we can sick on them? Where is the, how are we going to hold these people accountable? Because it's going to continue.
You know who I think is the teeth and who needs to get more angry and is going to start getting more angry, and we've seen it already in small doses? Mama bears. Parents.
Yeah, parents.
Right?
Yeah.
They're seeing their children being directly affected, and it is pissing them off, and they are starting to get active, and they are starting to get more coordinated and
red-pilled.
Red-pilled, really. So I think that is where a lot of my hope lies, is these parents that are just terrified and angry for their kids' future, right? Like, you were mentioning in Afghanistan, these kids that have not known, these girls, these young teen girls and children that haven't known this horrific, I mean, I'm sure they've had experiences, but not to the same extent that it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like parents starting to see, not that the Taliban is going to take over here. I pray that never happens. But along the same lines of like, I don't want my kids to experience going backwards or to a worse, not having the same childhood they did, even, I guess is the best way to frame it. Like,
yeah, I mean, you don't know. There's a lot of, there could have been some kids that have gotten on that plane. I don't know, man. My thing is like, you gotta get. And I know that I'm segueing into. That was a great point you made, but I just wanted to segue back into the Afghanistan thing. Two words come to mind when I look at, all those refugees that got on that plane ahead of American citizens. And I know that they're trying to flee, a situation that will put them at danger or in danger. But two words come to mind when I think of all those refugees on the plane. You want to know what they are? Mm-hmm. Ilhan Omar. Those words immediately came into my head when I saw all those refugees getting on that plane heading to the United States. She went through the same situation, and now she's here. How many Ilhan Omars do you think are on that plane?
That's a scary thought.
Yeah. How many Ilhan Omars did we take in ahead of United States citizens? Joe Biden is an epic failure. I'm going to keep saying it throughout this video. He is a walking abomination. That is the theme of the show. He is a walking abomination. He needs to be thrown out of office. If the Republicans don't impeach this bastard when they get control of the legislative branch, I am not going to vote for another Republican for as long as I live. I'm done. I'm through. I don't want to play any more games. That is the first thing they need to do. Impeach this guy.
Yes.
Impeach this guy. That needs to be actually on the ballot. That needs to be one of the top priorities of the ballot on every single congressman, or whether they're in the House or the Senate. They need to be pushing that policy or talking point when they're talking to the people. They need to say, "Hey, I'm campaigning to impeach Joe Biden." If I don't see that, I'm not supporting you.
No.
I'm not supporting you. And that needs to be on there, and an America First agenda needs to be on there. Yeah. Something that is beneficial to the people.
That's what I was going to say, too. Like, I don't want it to be just impeach Joe Biden.
Yeah,
it has to be deeper than that, because after that happens, then I want to see, okay, now what actions are you going to take? I don't want to see you pussyfooting around. Like, get in, handle it.
They impeached, and I don't like to go tit for tat, but hell, they deserve it.
You know what?
And we are justified. We are way more justified.
Way more justified than a call to Ukraine.
Yes.
I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of the call. I don't think it was impeachment worthy. But this is.
Absolutely.
This is.
Absolutely.
I don't know how more plainly I can say it.
Left all those Americans,
right,
in Afghanistan.
Can you imagine how terrified they must be right now? It is one thing to be an Afghani citizen that wants to leave the country for more, but to be an American citizen and be like, I can't get back to my country. They're prioritizing these refugees over me.
You know what they told them? All the Americans that are there behind enemy lines, like waiting until. They told them, wait until further notice. Is pretty much what they told them. Hide until further notice, and we'll get back to you. Wait till you hear something from the embassy, then we'll get back to you. The embassy that has already gotten the American flag taken down, and the American embassy that is flying the flag of the Taliban right now. The same embassy. This is the worst president of all time, and it's not even close. And where the hell is Kamala Harris? Where is she?
She doesn't want to get. She doesn't want anything pinned on her for this. She doesn't want any ties to this. That's my instinct.
Well, she was pulling for this evacuation. She was the one supporting all of this. And she can't say, no, well, I wasn't a part of this. No, you were part of this. You're second in command.
Yeah.
You are second in command.
You wanted this job?
You wanted this job, you're going to eat it.
Yep, exactly. You bear the responsibility, too. You don't just get the title.
You don't just get the title.
And not get any of the crap that comes with it.
Yeah, she's a walking abomination, too,
herself. She is, and that's the other thing, too. It's like, oh, okay, so we impeached Joe Biden. Maybe he's removed from office. Ugh. Then Kamala? I think that's going to be even worse.
It'll be worse, but I guarantee you she will not be elected. We are not going to elect her.
That is a positive, I suppose.
She will not be elected.
No, she wouldn't have.
We would just have to bite the bullet for the next 2 years, and she will not be elected.
No,
guarantee you that. That's why I'm for a beat. I'll just like, you know what? Screw it. 2 years. I'll freaking bite the bullet.
Yeah.
I'll live off of peanut butter and crackers and ramen noodles, whatever. I'll freaking whatever. Get her into the presidency if we have to get Joe Biden out of there. If we need to get...
she might have some level of competency at least.
At least she's young.
And some
there's no level of competency. No, let's not get that misconstrued.
Comparatively to Joe Biden, I think there's some...
I don't think she's competent in any...
She's cognitive.
Yes, cognitive.
Maybe that's a better term.
I can say cognitive, yes. And that's what my point was.
Yeah.
Competency? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This woman is a bumbling fool herself.
That's true.
But at least she knows what day of the week it is.
Yes. So competency Not so much.
Not to me, in my opinion. Her being the president would be catastrophic too. Yeah. She wouldn't know what to do in that situation either.
No,
she would have botched it too.
I used to cringe when people said this, but I think it is true to a point. Sadly, like the Taliban isn't going to cower to a woman.
They are not.
You know.
Oh, that would just even. You know what? That would just embolden them even more.
Yes.
And you know what would happen in response? She would overstep. Yeah. She would try to overcompensate. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the fear that a lot of people had of Hillary too.
Right.
They were talking about, she was talking about bombing Russia. She was talking about going to war with Russia when she was campaigning. Just so she can prove that she is just like one of the other guys. Oh, I can stomp with the big boys. And Kamala is no different. She's no different. She wants to show that she has strength.
Yeah.
And that's the fear that a lot of people have when, you get one of these women that are cut from the cloth of like a Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
She's cut from the same cloth.
Had some some foreign policy experience and is smarter than...
Here's the thing about experience. Okay, Joe Biden has all kinds of experience. And we see what that...
Does he? No, I know.
He has...
I know.
8 years of vice presidency experience. 40 years of being a senator. Mm-hmm. Senators...
I know.
Yeah.
I'm being facetious.
Yeah, okay. But I'm saying, like, experience to me... Whatever, man. Yeah. Do you have actual experience being like
hands-on
experience. In a diplomatic way, being able to talk to different cultures, respect different customs, this is why Donald Trump was able to negotiate with the Taliban. I remember when he was negotiating with the Taliban, everybody was like, oh my God, he's negotiating with terrorists. It's like, okay, but there were conditions that let the terrorists know if they even stepped out of line one bit, they would be crushed. They would be destroyed. They would be demolished. Not only that, their wives would be destroyed. Their kids would be destroyed. They will all die. And that's the point that needs to be set across. That's the point that needs to be made. And Joe Biden, can you please make sure that you are including women in your government and make sure that you respect women, please, pretty please. You think they're going to respect that? These people only know one language, and that language is universal. Force.
Yep. Peace
through force. That's the only way you can communicate with these folks. That is the only way you can communicate with these savages. Peace by force. I don't know what the hell Joe Biden is doing. And I guarantee you, he's going to be paying up all kinds of cash to the Taliban not to support these terrorist groups. Meanwhile, they're going to take that cash, just like Iran did. They're going to take that cash. Remember we gave Iran billions, hundreds of billions of dollars, cold hard cash for nothing. And they use that money to go ahead and support all of these terrorist organizations. What do you think is going to happen then? The Taliban is like, all right, we'll let you take out 1,000 Americans, but give us $1 billion.
Yeah.
We'll let you take out, we'll let you control this area, not control this area, but get access to this area to come and take out your Americans, but you're going to give us some kind of resources or some kind of,
We've already handed over how many millions, billions of dollars worth of resources?
If they sell it back to us, and Joe Biden's dumb butt actually pays for it, our own stuff, with our tax money. That guy is a walking abomination, man. I could live through, and I remember the first George H.W. Bush. I remember the first George H.W. Bush being in office. I can remember him being in office.
I vaguely do.
I can remember. I was very, very young, probably like 4 or 5 years old. And this guy, Joe Biden, is worse than him. He's worse than George W. Bush. He's worse than Barack Obama. This guy is a walking abomination.
Yeah. Sorry, just speaking of the Bush eras, I gotta throw out a little rant here. Why are we giving Liz Cheney a platform anymore? You see her attack on Trump. I'm like, you have some nerve. You have some nerve.
You know the saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
That's what is going on right now. The legacy media is nothing but a Trump-hating entity, a Trump-hating organization. The legacy media, not organization, but a Trump-hating, like, I guess you could say entity or like whatever. They have one thing in common. The neocons hate Trump and the neoliberal legacy media hates Trump. And they come together to attack him, you, me, your family. They have a common enemy. And that's why they're doing what they're doing.
I know.
Yeah, Liz Cheney, the Mitt Romneys, George Bush. These guys, I mean, when they were at their height of their careers, politics-wise, they were number one enemy. You know, they were calling Romney a racist, Bush a racist, Dick Cheney a racist, all of these guys. They were against these guys.
But now...
now they're just heroes.
They
now they're
serve a purpose,
Yeah, it's like, how... something's wrong, man. You guys have to wake up and realize that something ain't right. How was this guy anything but a child of God 20 years ago? George Bush I'm talking about. But now he's beloved? Now he's just the greatest thing?
Yeah.
Now don't disrespect George Bush?
That's the weirdest shift to me. That's the most bizarre plot of twist that's,
Trump really, like I always knew, but Trump he pulled back the curtain, man.
Yeah.
He really pulled back the curtain. Mm-hmm. He really pulled back the curtain. Did. And
which thank God.
And he's a guy that I'm happy that he's showing the right how to fight. He's showing the conservatives how to fight. A lot of the Republicans haven't caught on yet. There are some MTGs out there that know how to fight.
Yeah.
That know how to not take any BS, even though she did.
She did a little bit.
Yeah, she did a little bit.
Yeah.
But for doing all that fighting, I'll give her a little pass on just that.
Yeah.
But moving forward, she has to still, be strong. But that was a little chink in the armor, But we need more people that are along the lines of that. More
DeSantis's.
Yes, more DeSantis's, more Trumps, more DeSantis, more people like DeSantis, more people, like MTG, yep. more people like that.
Governor Noem.
Governor Noem. She's been doing some questionable things, when it comes to the whole thing with the transgender thing. I was very upset about that.
I guess I'm not up to date on that.
You weren't up to date?
Mm-mm. But
so there was
for her whole handling of the COVID, I think she did a tremendous job.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. My thing with her was her whole... When the transgender bill came up, she didn't want to sign it because she was too afraid of the NCAA coming, down on her. And I like, even if that happens, at least show the people that you want to fight. Right. At least show the people that you are willing to fight.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she's decent. I like her. I just rubbed me the wrong way. How she handled that.
Yeah. I didn't remember that, but I think generally speaking, she's not.
No, she's definitely better than a whole other of these rhinos. Like she's much better than the idiot that they got in what's that? Who's that Republican governor?
Sounds like a game show. Who's that Republican?
Yeah, who's that Republican governor? I want to say it's Massachusetts. He's garbage. He sucks. It's a Republican governor. He may as well be a liberal.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. I'm not sure who you're talking about.
Forgot his name. I'll look it up later.
No. Yeah. So, I do want to touch on something I saw too recently on Twitter in the past few days that's made a lot of rounds, and that's people comparing what's happening with the Taliban infiltrating government buildings to January 6th. And people legit, I have screenshots that I've been starting to like compile of people actually saying that January 6th was worse.
These are partisans. These are partisans that have Trump derangement syndrome. They hate you. They hate me. They are not logical people. These people are morons. These people are idiots. They're partisan hacks. They're partisan. They're uninitiated. They just all they do is watch CNN. They don't try to look at the other side or get any kind of perspective. You can say what you want about me being, biased or whatever, but I used to be on the other side.
Ditto.
So I know I can talk.
Yep.
But these people, they just know one thing. A bunch of these people watch CNN, MSDNC, and that's all they know. Yeah. They get shoved down their throats every single day a healthy dosage of January 6th. They're still talking about January 6th. So I almost don't really blame them, but I kind of do. Because you are not willing to venture out and see other types of...
Yeah. I fully blame them.
Yeah, like,
you're that ignorant to think... You allow yourself to be that ignorant and that uninformed, but you have the audacity to say that what happened on January 6th was worse than what's happening right now in Afghanistan. You send them to jail. I don't know. Get rid of education camps. I don't know.
Re-education
camps. Because you're a goddamn moron.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you touched on it earlier. Like, where are the feminists at?
Yeah.
Where are they at? Hiding. They don't want to say anything because they don't want to disrespect their beloved Joe Biden, who is the perfect president or alternative to Donald Trump.
As they hate Donald Trump. In the streets because, thank heavens Trump isn't this misogynist, terrible racist, isn't in charge anymore. Oh, wait, we just elected one. Okay, yeah.
What a walking abomination.
Yes.
He is a walking abomination, like in every sense of the word, or the phrase, excuse me. Yeah. He's garbage. Yeah. This guy is... I honestly don't even think this guy knows where he's at, like, half of the time.
He doesn't. That's why he's walking off into bushes.
Like, I want somebody to have a candid, like, interview. Like, an interview where he's pressed. Donald Trump gave plenty of those type of interviews.
Every day.
Yes, every day
during COVID. Yeah. In his daily briefings, he got hammered, and he would just whoop-hap, whoop-hap, Well, Pat,
yeah, he was dodging them. You know, he was like, you know, like,
And,
he was out there, and like every day, it's like, I remember one time it was hilarious. He goes, well, hey, he goes, he had somebody talking to him. He was on his side. He's like, he asked him, where are you going? He's like, oh, I'm gonna go and talk to the fake news. And he was like, he was happy to do it.
Yeah.
Let me go and talk to the fake news and do the fake news. He was like, excuse me, no, we are not going to do that. Excuse me. That was Donald Trump.
Yes.
He took it. He was like, yeah, he was strong.
Yeah. I hated it at first. I hated it. I was like, what a terrible.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I was like, finally, we have somebody with some cojones in there.
Yes.
Like,
and then you start realizing all the lies that have been told forever now, and it's like eye-opening. Like, yes, and then you start applauding it more. Like, shut them down, down.
Yeah, I know. It's like when you look at it from the outside in, it's like what an arrogant look,
right?
Like, little
exactly.
punk.
Yeah.
You know, but like when he's saying like, excuse me, like that is like so, like, I loved it.
Yeah.
I was like, finally, somebody coming in there and like shutting them down.
Yes. So, like.
I remember when like there was this woman. She goes, with all the coronavirus going on and like we're going through a pandemic and you refuse to not stop calling it the China virus, and do you realize how much damage you're doing to all the Asian Americans? She goes, why do you continue to call it the China virus? He goes, I want to be accurate. Because I want to be accurate. That's where it comes from. It comes from China. It comes from China. It's the Chinese virus.
Yes.
It is the China virus. So that's what I miss. That's what,
100%. That transparency. I don't want a bunch of political, like, fluff and pandering. Yes, some, like when you look at, like, Ron DeSantis, he's got some composure.
Yeah, that's the thing.
There is some...
There's a drawback to that. Yeah, there is a... I get what you're saying, but there also is a reaction to how he conducted himself, Donald Trump. There was, I love, you and we love it, but like at the same time, it's like strength can be a flaw too when it comes to, okay, now the media has their little ammo and they can run their little stupid
their little
fake news
bites.
Propaganda that they can feed the uninitiated, that they can feed the sheep, right? That is, when Trump says, excuse me, they can take that and run that over and over and over again, and the sheep are just going to be like, bah, and they're just going to be like, okay, yeah, Donald Trump's an asshole.
Yeah. Right. But I don't know. I miss that.
Yeah, I miss it. I loved it.
Because you know what he's thinking.
Yeah.
So there's no, like, hidden agenda.
But sometimes DeSantis, we like to say, like, DeSantis, but, like, DeSantis is like a baby Trump, too. Like, he says, he does the excuse me, too. He goes, excuse me. He does that.
He does, and I think that's why I would vote for him over Trump, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I probably would. I probably would vote because I love Trump. I have two things against Trump. He's a lightning rod.
Yep.
That will galvanize the other side.
Yep.
And give enthusiasm to the other side. Even though he'll give us a lot of enthusiasm, he'll give the other side a lot of enthusiasm. And also his judgment. His judgment is something that I very, very
his judgment on his close circle, or like,
who he keeps around,
who he's taking and advising from.
I mean, when his vision, his policies, I love it. I love everything about MAGA. Right? Yeah. I think that's like the greatest campaign slogan of all time. That is the greatest campaign slogan of all time. Make America great again. That is the greatest campaign slogan I've ever seen in my lifetime. When it comes to his judgment, there are some things, like I've discussed with you before. His inability to enact the Insurrection Act when the BLM terrorists were going around, the Antifa terrorists were going around and destroying businesses, hurting people, assaulting people.
Yeah.
He lost the white vote because of that. He lost the Karen vote because of that. The Karen vote was gone.
Yeah.
The Karen vote didn't even really like him all that much, but at least it was like kind of like he had at least 40% of the Karen vote, right? The Karen vote was gone because Karen likes to be, and I hate to use that phrase because it's a little bit racist, I guess, but the Karen vote is definitely a vote that likes security, that likes to feel safe.
Right.
Right? Why are you going to vote for somebody that is not going to keep you safe? It's, and then, like I said, the other half of the white vote, the male vote, the white male vote, you're over here pandering to minorities, right? You're over here pandering to LGBT, pandering to black folks, pandering to Hispanics. I give him credit for gaining with Hispanics, and he gained a little bit with blacks, but you didn't gain with women when it comes to white women.
Yeah.
You didn't gain with them.
No.
You lost, and you also lost with the white male.
Yeah.
You gained a little bit with gays, but how much of a population do they make up of the country?
What, like 2%?
Like, yeah. Very little.
Yeah.
So people run around and say, oh, he gained such and such X amount of percent. Okay, that sounds good. But how much, I would take 5% of Karen and Chad's vote over 20% of a Jamal and freaking Hector and whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would take 5% over their 20% any day of the week because of numbers, sheer numbers. The white vote, 5% is way higher than the 20%. So why are we spending all this time trying to get that little 20% when this 5% is worth more?
Yeah.
You can
I see your
pander
point.
to that demographic, and you don't even have to be like a white supremacist about it. Just cater to great American values. Say you're going to incentivize this community that has these values, right? And I'm telling you, if you do that, I guarantee you, maybe not the blacks, but the Hispanics will hop aboard because socially they are conservative. Yeah. Push family, push God, push those type of values, and the Hispanics will hop aboard. Push anti-communism, right? But first, push those first two I said. Family, God, those type of values. Eliminate all your LGBTQ pandering. Eliminate it. Eliminate your... I mean, yeah, it's cool to,
I don't think you can completely eliminate it.
Eliminate what? Completely eliminate what?
Discussing LGBT.
Why not?
I mean, I think you could say, because you have to address things like transgender.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, but you have to address that, but address it aggressively, address it no, we do not support this.
Yeah.
We do not support this, and don't try to support this in a way where it
doesn't have to be oh yeah, we're going to be so accepting and big tent about it, right? But make a clear line in the sand. This is where
this is where we stand. Yeah.
These are our values.
Yeah. No, we are not going to be calling mothers birthing people.
No.
No, we are not going to allow boys compete with girls. And no, we're not going to allow grown men to go into the girls' bathroom. No, we're not going to allow that.
We're not going to allow children to be mutilated, especially behind their parents' backs. We're not going to allow these doctors to give them medications without parental consent. And even then, I think there's a case to be made even with parental consent. Like, nope, you got to wait. Like, that's the law.
That would be all. I would outlaw that. Like, if I was a dictator, I'm telling you, a lot of people would have to flee this country because they would not be able to live in my country. Like, I would set up some rules. If I was a dictator, none of that hormonal stuff is going to be injected into any one of my kids, or they're not going to be taking any pills. They're not going to be getting any injections. They're going to have to wait until they are fully grown.
Get therapy. And
they're going to have to get like absolute 100% psychological evaluation.
Yes.
And even then it would still be hard for me to do that. Yeah. You know, and then I would also
maybe then it wouldn't be so trendy and cool, right? You actually have to like go through the process, not just like on a whim like, "Oh, I'm a boy." You know, "Oh, I'm a girl. I'm going to get top surgery next week."
Yeah, I would. That would be shut down real quick. And then I probably would, if I was a dictator. Well, if I was a dictator, there wouldn't be any kind of voting anyway. But if I had my way, I would up the voting age to at least 25.
Yeah, I would have hated that before. I fully support it now. I'm like, make the threshold 35.
It's crazy how it's crazy how the older you get, because I remember being that age, like younger, and then like seeing people who were my age now. Back then, I would look at them like they were crazy. They were the racists. They were the bigots.
Right.
But they were smart. They were right the whole time. The entire time they were right.
I know. My parents laugh so hard at it every time because the major shift in me, I'm just like, think back about 21-year-old 23-year-old Libby Lioux, and it's like, that was really
I look
dumb.
back at my old self and I just want to shake him. You idiot. Smack him. Wake up.
Stop it.
You idiot.
You haven't lived enough life yet. Like, you haven't. You just haven't. And so I don't think you should be making. I think if you serve in the military,
I agree with that.
Then you get the exception.
Yes. Then you be
may
exempt. Yes, I have
vote.
that. I definitely agree with that. If you serve the military, whatever the age it is you join the military, then you can vote.
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody else, no, I don't think you should have the right to vote. I really don't. And if you have an issue with that, whatever. I don't think you have, and it's not because young people vote for. If it was the opposite, I would probably say the same thing. Not because young voters usually vote Democrat. Because they don't have any kind of life experience. They know nothing.
To these like TikTokers that are like at the White House, or they hear some Cardi B or whoever,
and they're like,
oh, this must be right.
Yeah.
And it's like, just stop and think for a minute. You just stop. So yes, actually all of the things: raise the voting age.
Mm-hmm.
Or you've joined the military and you're serving your country.
Yeah.
Or you have to pass, if you're really that initiated, you have to pass a test, a bipartisan test that shows that you have a basic understanding of the things that you're voting on that are going to have a major impact for generations.
You have to know civics. You have to know the economics. You have to show that you know
what a governor is.
Yeah,
do you know how many people didn't know before COVID hit what a governor was? Like the difference
you have
between
to know
a mayor
what they do.
and a governor is, what they do.
Yeah, civics.
The different branches of government. Like,
a lot of people did not know. A lot of people. And have you ever seen one of the Mark Dice videos?
Which one?
Mike, is it Mark Dice or is it Mike Dice?
Mark
Dice.
Mark, yeah.
He goes around and asks people like simple questions about the government. And it's like they're so clueless. They're so clueless. He'll go on these college campuses and he'll go on like these like in these liberal, and there's be like, you ask them questions. It's like, you are college educated,
yes,
and you did not know this simple, like, you didn't know this simple thing.
How did you graduate high school?
There were people there that didn't even know that Joe Biden used to be vice president. They didn't even know that. They had no clue.
This is
and Mark Dice was like, oh my gosh, this is what he, and his point was like, this is what you pay for when you send your children to these colleges.
Yes.
They don't even know basic they don't know basic, like, oh, they don't my God.
They don't have the basic understanding.
But I bet you I know what they do know. They know all the 120-something genders. They know to refer to you by your pronouns, which pronouns that you want to be referred to as. They know that transgenderism and genital dysphoria is a thing. Mm-hmm. They know that.
They know who's trending on TikTok.
Yeah, they know what WAP means.
Yeah, exactly. They know the latest hot goss with the Kardashians. That they're all for the tea spilling, if you will, but they don't have any clue about anything that actually impacts them.
When I was young, man, like, I was on the other side, but I was initiated, man. But that was because my parents.
Yeah.
I was initiated. Like, I knew government. I knew, like, I was aware.
Yeah.
Of, even though I was on the other side, I was aware of things that were happening in the world. Because it was forced upon me to know. But if it wasn't for my parents, I probably wouldn't even care. I probably would have been like only caring about the next Kanye West album or something like that, right? Or the next Jay-Z album or whatever. But because of them, I was forced to read, do reports, do all kinds of stuff, right? Yeah. To get my mind turning, to get my mind going. So I was able to keep up with current events and like be able to have a conversation about it. Even though I believe that I was on the wrong side of that conversation, my talking points were completely different than what they are now.
Yeah, but I think that's what parents should be doing.
Yeah.
Even if you don't agree with them, my parents, I think your parents did it to a greater extent than mine, maybe. Mm-hmm. But we had conversations, and I may not have been the most informed, but I knew what I thought was basic knowledge that everybody knew. I soon walked out to the world to be like, whoa. Like, thank you for, not making me a dum-dum, not allowing me to, I don't know, educating me, so.
Yeah, it's crazy. Do you want to touch on anything else, or?
No.
No? Okay.
I have a funny story I'll tell you off air. But.
Well, you guys, thanks for joining us. I think that's going to be a wrap. One more last time. Joe Biden is a walking abomination.
Yes.
If you don't take anything else from this, please take that.
Yes.
That is the message that I am trying to get across.
Joe Biden is a disaster.
A disaster. A walking disaster.
Not only America, but international disaster.
Foreign policy.
If you voted for him, it's okay. I know you're feeling a ton of shame right now. It's okay.
Redeem yourself.
Learn from it and
Repent.
redeem yourself. Repent.
Yes. Repent.
Repent.
You voted for a walking abomination. You need to be repenting.
Yes. And we will forgive you as soon as you come to the right side of history. So anyway, thank you very much for joining us. As always, we just appreciate every view, every like, every comment. So yeah, thanks for being here with us.
All right. You guys have a good night.
Adios.
Peace.
Bye.